is now part of me. Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, our souls are now one.
He said he was sent by God, said he'd ascend through fire straight to heaven. But the only throne waiting for Larry Gene Bell stood in South Carolina, one with wires, straps, and a name whispered since 1912, the legendary Old Sparky. As dawn broke over Broad River Correctional Institution on October 3rd, 1996, the machine kicked into gear. A standard prison breakfast slid toward a man who still believed he was divine. But time doesn't humor delusions. Bell had less than 24 hours left. One final day, ticking down toward reckoning. To learn what brought him here, let's rewind 11 years earlier, late spring 1985. The Smith family received a letter, handwritten on a yellow legal pad. It came from Sherry, their daughter, a 17-year-old who had vanished just days earlier, right from their driveway in broad daylight. The title? Haunting in itself. Last Will and Testament. The content? Just as chilling. I'll be with my father now, so please don't worry. Don't ever let this ruin your lives. I know y'all love me and will miss me very much. Love y'all so damn much. But something was off. It was her handwriting, but those weren't all her words. Her mother later said someone had dictated every line, turning Sherry's goodbye into a script. And that wasn't just a hunch. Since her disappearance, the Smiths had been harassed by cruel, calculated phone calls, an anonymous man claiming he had her.
This is no hoax. I got Sherry right here. She's wearing white shorts and a tank top. I could see the fear of God in her.
The feds traced the calls. Payphones, different towns, different booths. Police often arrived within minutes, but the voice, always gone, always one step ahead. Until day 5, a strange turn.
Listen carefully. Take Highway 378 west to Traffic Circle. Take Prosperity exit. Go 1.5 miles. Turn left at White Frame Building. We're waiting. God chose us.
A long set of directions. Where it led wasn't clear, but it felt like surrender. Authorities followed every step, down to the inch. And at the end of the trail, they did find someone. But it wasn't the sadist who had tormented them. It was Sherry. Too late to save.
I gave her the choice, and she picked suffocation. Tell the coroner, so he gets it right.
The family was shattered, but there was no time to grieve. The phone kept ringing. Even on the night of the funeral, he called. Committing a horrific crime wasn't enough for him. He wanted to manipulate the families of his victims, FBI profiler John E. Douglas later said. He proved it with a second set of directions, delivered the same way.
Okay, listen really carefully. I know these calls are being traced. This is bigger than all of you.
This time, Sherry's sister Dawn answered the phone.
Go 1 north well, 1 west. Turn left at Peach Festival Road or Bill's Grill. Go 3.5 miles through Gilbert. Turn right. Last dirt road before stop sign at 2 Notch Road. Go through chain and no trespassing sign. Go 50 yards and to the left. Go 10 yards.
But this time, he'd already made clear what they would find.
Deborah is waiting. God forgive us all.
On June 14th, 2 weeks to the hour after Sherry Smith was kidnapped, another girl was abducted, this time from a trailer park in Richland County.
Deborah Mae Helmick, 9 years old, snatched from the front yard, her little brother watching. Investigations led nowhere, nothing but dead ends. They hadn't, except for one thing, those yellow-lined pages, Sherry's goodbye. They ran it through new advanced FBI technology. Their ESD, the electrostatic detection apparatus. It pulled up ghost impressions invisible to the naked eye, marks from sheets written on top, and it worked. They found a phone number, partial, but enough. It led to Ellis and Sharon Shepard, a South Carolina couple, out of town during the crime, but their house wasn't empty. They'd left someone in charge, a man named Larry Gene Bell, already in the system, priors for assaulting women, but never a suspect in this case until now. A search of the Shepherd's home uncovered a lot, matching hairs, fibers, yellow legal pads, and stamps. A warrant went out, surveillance posted, roadblocks set, and the next morning, just after sunrise, he drove straight into the trap. No chase, no struggle. "This is about those two girls. Can I call my mama?" he reportedly said. What followed were 2 trials and 2 convictions. Death sentences. One for Sherry, one for Deborah. A confession never came. The closest he ever got was in an interview with FBI profiler John E. Douglas. "All I know is that the good Larry Gene Bell couldn't have done this, but the bad Larry Gene Bell could have." Remorse was never part of him. It was always about control, and now, a decade later, control was no longer his. He was just a man waiting, in full isolation, with little more on the schedule than routine checks and passing guards. By noon, Bell was just sitting, in his own words, waiting to join Sherry and Deborah in heaven. He was eerily calm, the kind that unsettles. This was the same man who'd bathed in toilet water, called his urine holy water, smeared himself with feces. He said a bird in his cell brought messages from God, claimed he could memorize entire medical textbooks in under an hour, declared himself Jesus Christ. Delusion or strategy? Psychiatrists diagnosed him with paranoid schizophrenia. Prosecutors called it an act, a mask he put on when it served him. South Carolina's Attorney General Charles Condon pushed for closure. "It's time to carry out the jury's judgment," he said. The courts agreed. Sane enough for execution. Bell manipulates the system. Judge David Mehring wrote, "He's working with his attorneys, making choices. He knows exactly what he's doing." Just yesterday, the state Supreme Court sealed his fate. The Fourth Circuit followed. Appeals over. Options gone. It was on a one-way path to the chamber. South Carolina had moved to lethal injection, but Bell, sentenced before the switch, still had a choice. And he made history. The first in the modern era to choose the chair. Said it would send him to heaven faster. Called it the true blue oak that would take me to God. Believed its wood was sacred, tied to the crucifixion. To him, this was no end. It was a return to his father, because in his mind, he was the son. At 6, it was a food tray of all things that broke the silence. Hours had passed with nothing. No footsteps, no voices, no visitors. No one came for him all day. He once had people. Married in his early 20s to a 16-year-old girl. They had a son, Cody. His treasure, he once called him. But after Larry's divorce, Cody moved out of state. The distance became permanent. There were siblings, too. 3 sisters, 1 brother. Aging parents, Margaret and Archie. They had once testified for him and watched him fade. Quieter, colder, slipping further away. Eventually, they stepped back. But 2 men had come, driven in from Charlotte that morning, hoping for one final conversation. 2 detectives, not chasing justice. They came looking for answers. Bell matched the profile in several unsolved cases, and those left behind were desperate for closure. When he dies, one of them said, so does the best chance of finding them. But Bell refused. No answers, no conversation. And that tray from earlier? Hamburger, rice and gravy, fried okra, cornbread, and iced tea. Institutional default. He didn't make a special request. He never touched a bite. As warm 70-degree winds turned cool, the crowd began to swell. Some came to protest, most came to cheer. Kill the son of a their favorite chant.
There's a lot more people than I've seen out here. I haven't been, this is probably my 4th one being out here, and there's a lot more people protesting in favor of the death penalty.
The air was charged, and finally, it cracked. Deborah Helmick's father, barely holding on, snapped. Who could blame him? A protester stepped in too close, candle raised to his face, a flash, shouting, shoving. Police stepped in fast, cutting it off before it could explode. October 4th, 1996 had arrived. The official witnesses sat in silence, lined up in a row of chairs. Among them, Rick Cartrett, Sherry Smith's uncle. "It will give me nightmares," he said, but he did it for Sherry. Her parents did not. They found closure long before. And though this execution was officially for Sherry's case, Deborah Helmick's mother was there too. Across the glass, Bell sat upright, strapped in, leather shroud cinched tight across his lap. No resistance, no final words. He never even opened his eyes. One media witness recalled, "On the warden's signal, 3 executioners pressed a button. Only one sent the fatal charge. No one would ever know who." The first surge hit, 2,000 volts at 5 amps, then 2 lighter bursts per protocol. Bell stiffened slightly with the first jolt, then stopped moving. One witness said, "They called it clinical, quick." Deborah's mother sat expressionless as the physician stepped forward. At 1:12 a.m., he pronounced Larry Gene Bell dead. Old Sparky delivered, just like it always had. And to you, stay safe, keep your loved ones close. Evil hides in plain sight. Subscribe. It might help you spot the signs, might even save a life, maybe yours.